Bomani Nick Saban has a technological solution for the empty student sections he keeps complaining about. The New York Times reports that Alabama had students install a custom version of an app named FanMaker that tracks locations of fans inside the stadium. And the reward is loyalty points to be redeemed for SEC title game and college football playoff tickets. So what does this app sound like to you?
All right, so I do kind of dig the idea that you can be rewarded for staying the whole game, because they do have a problem here, which is they be beating the brakes off people, and not everybody wants to be running the risk of getting skin cancer watching a foregone conclusion, right? So I understand that part of it. However, the idea that they are tracking you, yes, this is the case with most apps you use, to be clear. Most of them have this power and do that, but it starts feeling extra creepy when you start hearing about it in these settings.
It sounds dystopian. It sounds like you are getting paid actors to end up attending these games because the players are not paid, so what do? We have to build the environment around them that helps recruit more of those players, and so the fans are complicit in that. But for me, this all strikes to privacy. It strikes to the notion that we are just going to let schools, universities, employers, bosses track you, because where does it end? Where does it end once you get your location?
Well, hold on now. We're kind of burying the lead to a degree here. Not really the lead, because we decided to focus this around Alabama, but in our research coming up to do this show, we found out that the University of North Carolina is using tracking to make sure that the players go to class. Like, it's no longer enough now to put somebody outside of the class, which you can do when everybody takes the same classes, and just to check if they go now. Oh, no. They are going to be using this to track whether you go to class, which gets us to the point that you are making. At what point do you think they are going to stop? Like, once they get a little bit in here, they're going to keep doing it. Why? Because they see it as a good idea. Why? Because it makes sense. And one argument that we can't continue to use, Pablo, for justifying things is simply that they make sense, because then you get to this stuff.
We get to unintended consequences, and Silicon Valley is the worst place on the planet at coming up with stuff that makes sense, but also stuff that erodes your fundamental civil liberties. So obviously I'm speaking quite dramatically there, but
Is
not
it
really.
really dramatic?
No, because listen to this, right? On your phone, you already have not just location stuff, but accelerometer stuff. It can tell what angle the phone is being held at. It could also get your steps. It's so short away from getting your heart rate. So what's to stop them from saying, actually, if you're a really enthusiastic fan, you get even more points. If you're really into it, if you're standing up, if you're cheering, we'll give you even more. What's to stop them from following you around and regulating all sorts of intimate details?
Well, hold on. Take it to the next level on that. What if you are not out here cheering and they decide we need cheerers in this section, and thereby you have not used your ticket properly, therefore you cannot come in to these games? Because one thing that's interesting about this with the student section, so many coaches get out there and they fuss at the students, or they give the students credit for staying so long, or whatever it is. They don't really get treated like customers in that way, right? They get treated as though they are supposed to pledge a certain fealty to this football program, and they are not. It's not just good enough that you can decide to go, right? Like, if they want to get on people who get tickets and don't use them, okay, I understand where you're coming from there. But to then try to regulate what the behavior is once you get there, that's kind of sort of what they're doing with this, and I think they're asking too much of the student body in the course of it.
It is fandom as labor. They are putting you to work now. And the other thing that I have to imagine these fans, these students, these laborers have already figured out, because they do this in every other class and every other aspect of college, is how to get around the system. So I imagine that for all of this talk, they're simultaneously loading up individuals with everyone else's phones with that app downloaded so they can get credit in the way that you get a study packet for
Yeah, the only thing about that is that one person that's staying, I ain't holding your phone. Like, I don't know about you. Like, I think this will be a little tougher to get around, because it would involve people saying, here, you can have my phone. And I don't know about you, partner, but that is never the answer.
Oh, no.
No, like I understand you might be the greatest husband in the world, but I ain't really on this, you can just have my phone.
Second phone.
Hey.
I mean, not that I do that.
I see you, big dog.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.